Alright guys, welcome back to another Vite Motorsports production. So, it's been a while. I don't know when I started these shenanigans. I did it on a weekend and then I posted a video on Wednesday. Well, it's been 2 weeks. Feels like it's been longer. But, yeah, so it took me 2 weeks to get 2 of these. So, this video is going to be, I'm not going to have a corny title or anything to it. I really want to really inform people on this particular issue that I had. If anybody is going after this and attacking this job on their own, what they need to be looking for. So this is specific to the 01 to 04 Tacomas. That's when the body style changed, and come to find out, when the bearings changed, and so did the axles in the rear. So I'm going to explain the differences that I found and what to look for and what you need to do. So I'm going to caveat all of this with, if you have a stock truck, you know it's stock, you know the axles have never been replaced, and you just need to change the bearings out, just go buy a bearing kit for your truck and you'll be fine. However, if you were like me and you have a bent axle and you're going out to go buy an axle, listen to what I'm saying. So yeah, so to get started, the story is, I had a bent axle on the right hand side. You could see it was bent. You could see even the planetary, binary, the gear for the ABS. You could even see it wobbling in there. You could see the tire wobble. You could see that the axle was bent. I haven't really got it out of the packaging to see it, but even in the shop, you could see it kind of bent a little bit from the. So the bearing was obviously then shot as well. But so this is what happened. I knew I was doing this. Got on eBay, bought Yukon axles from a Yukon, had Yukon axles, and bought a kit that had all of the bearings for an 01 to 04 Tacoma. Everything said it would fit. So that's not 100% true. When you buy an axle aftermarket, you're buying a 2000 to, I believe, 95. It could be even later than that. It could even go older. But 2000 on axle. And there's some slight differences between them, and there's enough of it that it sucks. So I bought the axles, and the shop I took them down to have everything put on looked at it and said they're different. They're slightly different. I'm going to post a picture right here. And so this picture that you're looking at is showing the difference between the old one and the new one. And the new one, you can see, okay, we're going to come back to the actual axle now. So you've got the, pull it out. You can't see it in there very well. There we go. So this is the old axle. Old axle, this is off an 01 to 04 Tacoma. Here's the hub where you've got the, for your lugs, comes down onto this shoulder, and then you have a shoulder here, then drops down with a relief, a pretty I don't know, shallow relief, I guess. Maybe you can see the edge. I don't know how well it's going to come out. Then you have the groove here for the C-clip, and then out to here for basically the area where you can have your bearings and retainers and such. The difference between this axle and the axles that are now in the truck, can't see it very well. The diameter here, like you see in that picture, if you want to go back, the diameter of this is much larger on the 01 to 04. So this is a dust seal that goes on here. That won't seal right if you use the older style axle, because it's a lot smaller. So the 01 to 04 has a larger diameter, and then this relief is different. So you have a relief right here. On the older style, it's very sharp relief, comes down, a very small little relief down there, and then goes into the bearing area. And then this groove for your C-clip is further in. I'll explain why in just a sec. So I couldn't figure out why Why is it not working? It should work, right? And it's not. So I figured it out after much avail, and I'll explain the rest of the story of what I had to go through to get this, because I want to shout out to the people that know what they're doing and kind of demolish the people that don't know what the heck they're talking about. So the difference is right here in the bearing itself. There we go. So you can see there's a small little lip here on the bearing. This is an 01 to 04 bearing. So this is what you're looking for if you have an 01 to 04 bearing. It has a fairly a relief. It goes into that relief perfectly and sets alongside that shoulder right here. So this would fit onto that axle perfectly. It would also make this bearing and subsequently this bearing case drive down the axle a little bit, and then you have where you'd have a retainer like this up against the backside of that, and then you have a C-clip. Then after that you'll have your gear for the ABS, and then another retainer at the end. This retainer will act as an oil seal for the interior oil seal. It's also important to know that there's this interior retainer that acts as part of the sealing on the oil seal. So on the bearings I have now, you can't see it. Could you see it? No, you probably can't see it. But this doesn't exist. I'm sorry. This does not exist. This little notch that comes out of the bearing. It's just this bearing. Just this bearing. It gets pressed on all the way up to the edge of that shoulder. You've got an oil seal. This is an 01 to 04 oil seal. But you'll have a slightly smaller oil seal. Boom, goes onto that, rides onto that shoulder, keeping dust out of the bearing area. So that's the big difference. So if I was to use these bearings on the other axles, I can't use that C-clip. It's kind of an overkill thing, but I couldn't use it. But I also would not have enough room to have the gear or the secondary retainer I need. So that would have also sucked. So to continue the story of what happened, so I bought those axles. They were wrong. Returned them. If you buy anything on eBay, learned a lesson here. Make sure that the seller allows you to return things. It was a big deal to get this guy to return the axles. I actually had to get eBay involved, and they had to force a refund from the seller. It was a big pain in the butt. So return those. I had a choice. I could go with Marlin Crawler or go with JT's, which is justdifferentials.com nitro axles. I decided to go with the nitro axles because I just needed the axles. Marlin Crawler explained exactly what I had to do. But I decided to go to JT's. They said, yeah, they'll work, yeah, they'll work, yeah, they'll work. They did say, hey, do you need a bearing kit? I said, no, I have one. I'm good to go on that. Because I had bought Toyota parts. I bought all Toyota parts. So I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want your crappy bearings. You know, they couldn't tell me how they sourced them or anything. So I wasn't going to go with that. I knew where mine were sourced. They were genuine Toyota parts. So I did that and got them in, literally pulled them out of the box, looked at them for 5 seconds and said, nope, it's the same darn thing. It's the older style axle. To be completely honest, like I said, I want to admonish the people that did a bad job and celebrate the people that did a good one. JT's did horrible. I returned them, paid for shipping to return the things, though they were wrong. Got them. They said they did a refund with a restocking fee, which irritates me. I hate those kind of fees. Anyway, I said, fine, I'll take it. Never got a refund. Ended up having to call them back. They gave me a runaround, and then I had to call my credit card company, and they've done a refund for them. That's what's basically happened here. I don't like doing that to people. I understand people have to make a living and everything, but you also have to treat your customers well. And if someone calls you with an issue, I think you should try your best to make it right. Not just say, yeah, we gave you a refund. You got to call your people. That's, I'm not trying. I just want my refund. Anyway, so JT's did horrible. I got those axles back. Call Marlin Crawler. Here's the deal with Marlin Crawler. They recommend you buy the older style bearing case. So this is the newer style, and they recommend get you the older style bearing case. Got those from Village Toyota, I think, for I want to say $50, something like that. And I also bought new bolts because these are pretty rusted out, so I got new bolts. Got those from them, and then ordered the axles from Marlin Crawler and their bearing kit that they recommend, which they knew how it was sourced through, it was Japanese parts. So Japanese bearings and everything. So I was happy with that. Hell, it's the same dang brand, Aichi, which was what Toyota was selling me. So it's good stuff. Anyway, got those. Awesome customer service. Worked hard when the axles weren't in stock to get the axles in stock and get them out to me as soon as they possibly could. Very happy with them. Now, some things that they did say. I needed the bearing case. I was going to lose ABS. That's why I didn't go with them initially, because they said I would lose ABS. But that doesn't make sense. I'll explain why it doesn't make sense. They said I'd lose ABS, and what else? I think that's it. Yeah. So I said, all right, fine. You're my only choice at this point. I can't either. I do this, or I revert back and I spend basically what I'll spend to get 2 chromoly lifetime warranted axles with a stock Toyota axle. I said, no, not gonna do that. I just want to get these in, and I'll do it this way. So. And I'll put all the part numbers and stuff below in the description too. And I'm sorry, I know it's like I'm at 12 minutes rambling already, but I really want people to understand what they're buying and don't go through the fiasco I did, because it's not worth your time and your energy to have your truck out of commission for 2 weeks because axle shops don't know what they're really selling you and don't know what's in your truck. Don't tell people that fits an 01 to 04 truck only if you use don't say it fits and then not say you have to use this. That's what at least was nice about Marlin Crawler. They said, this is what you need, this is what you have to have, go buy it and it will work. And it did. So, I'm just putting that out there because it's a pet peeve of mine. So after all of that, I got the shop done. They did everything they needed to do, so you can kind of see what you got here. Let's see if I don't really want to tip it down because it's got oil on it. So, kind of can see, you got the axle, you got the lugs with the retainer in there, the oil seal, you can barely see the new bearing cases there. I'll show that on the other side. New bolts. These are pressed-in bolts here, pressed-in bolts. Those are new. Then the bearing case, of course, is new. And then you've got the new bearing, a retainer. You're not going to see that C-clip right behind that. This, I can't really, dang name of this gear, it's driving me crazy. ABS gear, and then this guy. Okay. Because of this, I made sure the shop measured from here to the edge of this on the old one and the new one to ensure that they're in the same location, because this acts as an oil seal, and this is the final point that you have to line it up to. So I have some grease here because I was trying to make sure that that lined up really nice. And it does. It's dead nut center with that seal. The seal's in there, but I can't see it. It's dark, yeah. New O-ring. I don't know if you can see it very well. You can't see it, it's so dark. I don't have my flashlight with me over here, but yeah. Anyway, so there it is. So that's what we've got going at this point, guys. So it's I did want to say, so Marlin Crawler recommended a new bearing case. I measured both of them, the new one before I installed it and this one, and there's very little difference. The only difference is about would that be a tenth? That'd be a tenth of an inch difference. This is 10th inch larger than the other one. Then this is where the oil seal sets in there like that. So I would suspect that would be enough to make the other oil seal not fit properly and to be all loose and wanting to fall out. So unfortunately, that's where you got to go with it. So, but you don't lose ABS. You can't lose ABS because, like I said, the distance from this point, this surface, to this has to be there because you have to have this. And I talked to the guys at Randy's. Randy's is who sells these Yukon axles. And they said in their notes, you have to use their bearing kit and you need to purchase another one of these retainers. Now, they didn't say anything about this planetary gear, but that's not a planetary gear. Well, but they said you need one of those. So that's where we land right now. And so I'm excited that I can finally get my truck back on the road, and I have chromoly axles in it, and everything looks like it's lining up properly, and we're going to be good to go. So again, I apologize for this long intro, but I just don't want people to have to go through this retardedness that I had to go through with this just because I didn't know, just didn't know. So if you're buying axles out there, they are going to be selling you the axles that fit the 2000 and older models. So you're not going to get what you think you're getting. So if you buy a bearing kit from somewhere else and you go use those axles, it's not going to work. So I highly recommend Marlin Crawler. For the cost, it was cheaper to do it that way. Cheaper to go through Marlin Crawler, get chromoly axles, and get some expert advice on it. So highly recommend Marlin Crawler. I'll put their information and links below to these axles and bearing kit, and I'll put the part numbers for the bearing cases in there, those bolts for the bearing case, and the retainer as well. So don't go through the fiasco I did. At this point now, I'm going to have to figure out some way of hopefully finding an individual that needs these bearings and seals and selling them. So that's what I'm going to have to do now, which kind of stinks. I don't want to do that, but it's more time out of my life. But it's what it is. At this point, I have to sell them. It's the only way to get it done. So yeah. All right, guys, we're going to get to work after 18 minutes of rambling and get these axles in, the brakes on, everything cleaned up, and back hopefully on the road today. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you on the flip side. All right, guys. So I'm back, and my battery was done, so I replaced the battery. Took it for a quick spin, and I think I successfully say that noise I was hearing, that's like whir, whir, whir sound, no matter what speed it was going, once it got to 55, it kept making that noise. That's gone. So that was the bearings, as I suspected. I just didn't know if it was the front or the rear. I couldn't determine what it was, but it was definitely the rear. The rears were pretty in bad shape. Both of them were. I have a feeling it was because I overloaded the truck, not this particular truck, but the one that I flipped before, and where all these parts came off of. So, but yeah, the sounds, I got it all the way up to 70, and you could definitely hear it when it was at 70 miles an hour. So it's back together again, back on the road. So the plan is, just for my own peace of mind, I'm going to take the tires on the brake drums off. I'm probably going to adjust the drums a little bit more. You probably noticed I was messing around with the passenger side. It was giving me a fit. I hate drum brakes. When they work good, they're great. When they don't work good, they're a pain in the butt. So I'm going to take it all apart, make sure everything's fine. The one, what is that part called? Shoot. It's where the hydraulics press out on the drums. God, I can't remember what that's called. The cylinder? The brake cylinder? Maybe. My brain's not working today. Anyway, it was leaking a little bit, and I'm worried that it might have, have failed. So if that's the case, I want to replace it. I'm taking this truck on a pretty long trip soon, and I just want everything to be spot on before I leave, so I don't have to deal with it. I'm also going to take off the ABS sensor and make sure no oil, or it's not oil technically, it's gear oil. Any of the gear oil has made it past the seal into that area. That would be just the first telltale sign that that's not sealing properly, so that you don't have it come into the brake, the drum brakes, and then ruin your brakes and everything else. So that's we'll check that really quick and make sure that there's no gear oil in there. And yeah, I'm excited that noise went away, that I don't have to spend more money trying to fix something else that I have no idea what it would be at that point. Like I said, it could have been the front wheel bearings, or it could be something completely crazy, some pinion bearing or something going crazy. But it seems that that's resolved, which I'm happy about. Yeah. So if you like the video, please like, subscribe if you want to. If you want to subscribe and get notifications of my other videos that come out, please do that. And I hope this was informative for anybody that is trying to do an axle replacement on these 01 to 04 Tacomas. I would hate for someone else to have to go through the same shenanigans that I had to go through just to get their truck back on the road. So don't waste your time or your money on anything else. Just go straight to Marlin Crawler, get their kit, do as they say, get that bearing case, and go from there. So yeah, it's nice to have it back on the road, though. It's nice to have the security, because the weather has been abnormally good here for quite a while. We've only gotten little snowstorms, which isn't normal by this time of year. This time of year, we should have snow on the ground, a few feet tall. So, yeah. So we're lucky where we're at right now that I was able to drive the car as much as I did. But I'm going to quit rambling, and you guys have a good day. And until next time, peace.